I think we're recording. All right, I got my Q&A window open. We're ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
All right, we are broadcasting. We are live. So I don't think anybody's signed in yet. So maybe we'll just kind of sit around and wait.
I just got a text message it's saying the webinar won't start till 12.
Oh, really?
That's what, my youth pastor just sent me a text message.
What time is it there?
It is 12:03 right now.
Okay. So there we go. We got 8 guys in.
Nice.
All right. Welcome to the CV Outreach and Churches of God of Central California webinar.
Woo woo.
Did I get it right? Is that the right title?
Yeah, Church of God, Central California.
All right. Well, I'm super excited now because I just heard an amazing testimony from Michael and some of the ministry that he's doing as a result of our partnership, and that's always super heartwarming and like really encouraging to hear from our end of things, and just kind of seeing the technology actually work. The internet is a super interesting thing. We got the East Coast. Oh man, East Coast of America. Okay, everybody coming in here. Well, welcome everybody. And I just want to start off by introducing myself. My name is Bryce Runyon. I am the community manager at CV Outreach. And essentially, me and my team, we own the relationship between our church partners, the pastors that we work with. Also do a lot of strategy setting and vision casting for our other regions as well. Speaking of other regions, I'll just give you a real brief overview of who we are. We're not just CV Outreach. We're part of a global organization called CV Global. We operate in what we define as about 7 different regions around the world. We have, I think, 20 some different offices spread out all over the place, 400 and something people working. And some of them do CV Outreach and some of them do some other stuff. We got a lot of national church planners. But essentially who we are is we started in 1988. We were founded by a very generous British lord. He's got a super big heart for the gospel and for evangelism in general. And he's also really interested in technology. And a few years ago, we turned the corner away from shortwave radio evangelism to digital outreach, digital strategies to present the gospel online. And that's when our office got started 4 or 5 years ago. And after a couple years of getting up and running and figuring things out, we started CV Outreach. And the reason we started CV Outreach was because we realized that there's been a big shift in the way that people interact with each other online. We all know that, we all see that. But what we see is a large portion of the population, instead of going to friends or family or even their own church to figure out answers to life's really difficult questions, they go to the internet, they go to Google and start asking questions. So CV Global has a vision to engage 1 billion people with the gospel, which used to just be kind of like a big idealistic number, but now it's actually probably something we should probably up that number a little bit because it's possible with the internet. And then CV Outreach exists to connect people with the church. And so, we're looking to target people online through digital ads. Let's see, Roger's raised his hand. You got a question there, Roger? Yeah, just real quick. Let me just say, anybody who has any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat there, and we'll do our best to hit them up. But we exist to connect people with the church through digital outreach strategies, through paid advertising that we fund through the Google grant. And so CV Outreach is a fully funded nonprofit. So it's a really interesting position to be in. We have the ability to come alongside the local church and say, hey, you guys exist to present the gospel. We exist to present the gospel. And we're fully funded, so we don't need any sort of support from you guys. We can come together as true partners and say, hey, let's try to do this together. And so that's what we try to do through our program. Some of the nuts and bolts of how we connect people with the church is we get onto your website. If you own your own URL and you're a registered 501c3 nonprofit with the IRS, we jump on your website. We develop a single landing page that dynamically loads the content based on the user search query. We get you the Google grant, which is $10,000 a month of online advertising credits through Google that's afforded to all these 501c3s. We develop a big old ad set on different felt needs that people in your area or really around North America are all kind of struggling with, searching for. And we direct all that traffic to your website. And then, yes, $10,000 a month. We direct all that traffic to your website. And when somebody clicks to respond after watching a gospel presentation in the context of the question that they originally have, we connect them locally to a CV outreach partner. And I usually joke around at that point and say it's through, the magic of the internet, or, it's through the magic of unicorns and leprechauns that we make that happen. But it's some technology, it's some algorithms, and it's pulling geolocation off of people and where they're at, and then routing them locally to the closest church partner. And that's something that we started doing at the beginning of this year, and we're really, really excited about it. We're seeing really good results from it. We're still doing the best that we possibly can to optimize that and make sure that every connection is a local connection. And that's really where you guys come into play. And basically, if you take a grid and place it over North America, what we want to do is get everybody at the intersections of these grids and make sure that nobody's really more than 15 or 30 miles away from a local church connection if they get online and search. Because we're fully funded nonprofit, we are forever free. Everything that we do for the church is completely free of charge. We'll never ask a dime of you. We love the local church, and we love Jesus, and we want to work with you guys to help you make disciples more effectively. So that's just the general, really broad overview of what we're doing. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and pipe up, ask a question. Tangibly, with all the explanation of like it's a web page, it's dynamically loaded content, it's people searching online through PPC, it's the Google grant, yada yada yada. Sometimes it all gets confused, and so Michael, I'm going to put you on the spot. You just gave me a really amazing testimony of how this has worked specifically for your church. I'm gushing right now because this has been such an amazing thing that the Lord's done. But if you could give the testimony of this guy that you just connected with, that would help, I think, put some tangible context to it.
Yeah. So we'll get emails from time to time because of our partner with CV Outreach, and they'll come through, people responding to videos that, again, have been strategically placed in front of them because of what they've been searching for. So it was last week. It was a Tuesday night. Email came through to me 11 o'clock at night. They had responded to a video about divorce. So apparently they'd been searching somehow around this divorce topic. Then what took place is I didn't get the email until the next morning. And so got on, connected with them the next morning, and ended up sitting down to lunch with this couple who had been separated and really needed some intervention in their life. And so Kimberly and I, my wife, sat down, had a lunch with them. They, we found out that they were from a neighboring city. And so it wasn't a great distance between us. Really got to hear their story, where they're at, how broken it was, got to speak in our story, and really just massive amounts of encouragement, kind of coming their way through all of that. They came to church this last Sunday, worshiped with us, which was great to be able to see that kind of follow through connection happening. We had already invited them to come with us to the home group. And so they came to our home group with us right after church. And then after the home group, stuck around for a lot longer. There was a lot more kind of like 2-on-2 time where we were speaking into their marriage, and we're getting ready to set up some marriage counseling with them, some stuff that I use for premarital counseling that we're adapting to be able to fit into the current situation. But it's just been really great to see that they were in such a desperate situation, and then through searching online got connected back to us. And all four of us were just like, this is crazy that here we are sitting together, sharing at such a deep level. God's truly in the midst of this. And so in the midst of all the leprechauns and unicorns and rainbows, the Holy Spirit's doing some amazing things with the technology these days. And so we're just celebrating that in a huge way.
That's so great, man. Hey, Mike, I saw you jumped on here. Did you have a question?
I have no question. Just my computer's doing funky things. I have no idea what happened.
It's technology. Once we figure it out, we'll let you know what it is, but we're still feeling around in the dark ourselves. So. Hey, if anyone has a question.
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you guys. So I'll just leave it at that.
Great. Okay. If anybody has a question, go ahead and just raise your hand there. We'll promote you. You can ask it live, or you can type it in there. All right. So let me just keep on moving here. We've got the Ad Grant partnership, which is the landing page scheme, if you will. And that right now, what we have up is we have about 25 different topics where different ad sets, pieces of content that speak to a potential user's search query. I'll share my screen here and let you guys see what I'm talking about here. If you go to cvoutreach.com, current-content, what you're going to get is a grid screen of some of the different topics that we have up and running right now, the pieces of content we're constantly adding, because as our team of 3 Ad Grant specialists does keyword research, and we look into trends across the nation and in terms of what people are looking for, we develop different pieces of content, or we source different pieces of content, and we throw that up on the site, and we control all that from our end. So like Christmas time will come around and we'll have a specific video speaking, preaching the gospel in the context of Christmas. Here you can see there's one, sharing the gospel in the context of divorce, the meaning of life, middle of the night. There's general questions about the Bible, and a lot of people, ask these questions. Why do bad things happen to good people? So we're constantly releasing this stuff out. So this page is updated as we go along. And what that is we call that dynamic content loading. So if I get on, if I get on online, I get on Google and I ask Google, hey, what's the meaning of life? I'm going to get a lot of different options, but there's 7 different ad slots on a Google search page. And, if we're doing our job right, which 2 days ago I searched that, and we owned 6 of the 7 different ad slots for this area on the meaning of life. And so what I got to see from my end was 6 of those ad slots got loaded with different church landing pages. And so I clicked on one, and it's going to take me to a church in like New York, right? Even though I'm in Dallas, I get routed to a church in New York. I get to watch a video talking about the meaning of life. Why do we exist as human beings? It all points back to a creator. It all points back to a creator God who loves us and wants a relationship with us. And then I get an opportunity to connect. I hit that connect, pops open a box, and what I get to see there is an opportunity to respond. And so back to the shared screen here. I'm going to go here, meaning of life. And this is essentially what most of our landing pages looks like these days. And so I get the opportunity to connect now, and then I type in my message, I hit submit, and then that routes me to the closest local church partner. Now here in Dallas, where we're at, it's going to route me, 3 or 4 blocks away to one of our partner churches. You can see here on these landing pages that they're very minimalistic. We do that for a reason. It drives action on the site. What we're looking for is to make that connection with the local church as often as we possibly can. So we want people getting on, watching the video, connecting, getting on, watching the video, connecting. So we don't give them any other options. Down here at the bottom, you're going to see page hosted by your church instead of CV Outreach, and then our terms and conditions, obviously. But this is all it is. It's very basic. It's very simple. The content that we provide. This specific video, we worked with, I don't know if you know the guys at the Bible Project out in Portland. They're the guys behind the Read Scripture app with Francis Chan. John and Tim, we love these guys. We got in contact with them maybe 3.5, 4 years ago. Really kind of resonated with them and their heartbeat, and they kind of understood what we were trying to do. And so we started talking content and said, hey, like, you guys have this really great knack of producing amazing stuff. Can we start using it? And we ended up getting on the ground floor of some of their stuff. And, you know, they've been super generous to us and allowing us to use all sorts of their stuff very freely, very openly. We do a lot of translation to get into our other regions of the world as well for them. And so that's some of the content that we have. We get a bunch of stuff from Right Now Media. We get stuff from Moving Works. We've got some other larger churches that have really good content teams that we like to use their stuff. And that's, you know, that's something that we're always open and willing to talk about. If any church out there has a good content team and they're producing dynamic, high quality stuff, we love to fold their content into our plans and our initiatives. So that's the AgGrant partnership. I want to pause here real quick for some questions or comments, Michael.
Yeah, well, I'll wait for some questions, and I'd love to just speak into that and give some specific hard numbers for the differences that we saw once we began partnering with you guys.
Cool.
All right, well, I'll jump in and see if more questions come in. So I was looking back at our website and some of our numbers. So unique visitors in 2015, we were hitting 2,811 for the year. Unique visitors 2016, 3,420. That's kind of that work we were putting in on our own. We began the partnership in 2017, and we didn't even begin it until, I want to say, July of 2017, if I'm remembering correctly. We finished the year at 18,196 unique views. And so we went from 3,400 to 18,000 unique views. And it's amazing when you look at how many people are going back to look at what's the gospel and the number of people checking it out. I looked today, 2018, just to date. So just this year to date, we're already at 9,729. So we're, you know, well on pace to be able to see ongoing traffic. So it is amazing to think that the same website that we had before gets that gospel page, and then the unique viewership goes up so much. That means that so many people are watching that video and seeing the content. And then, of course, we get people responding back to it. So those alone, you know, just speak volumes to me. And it's actually really exciting to see the ways that our website is being used in such significant ways.
So we're, as an organization, we're pretty open-handed with everything that we do. Obviously, it's all free. We're also very open about what's going on behind the curtain, and so we like to pull that back every once in a while and give people a peek. One of the things that we're doing right now is we're changing our slug. So if you guys speak internet jargon, you'll know that it's yourchurch.com/ and then a slug is the little title that comes after that. We host all of the pages on /CV Global currently. We're in the process of switching all that over to churches near-me. There's a couple reasons for that. The first one is EU regulations. We want to try to get away from having CV's name plastered all over the place. It's a liability for the organization and the trust that Lord Bob has kind of set aside for us. But it also is a move towards organic SEO strategy. So when somebody, you know, jumps online and they search churches near me, you know, what they're going to get is a bunch of churches who have a strong SEO game. We notice as a side effect of being a CV outreach partner is your SEO kind of goes through the roof. And it wasn't intended, but it just kind of happens. And that's just because there's so much traffic coming at you. And so now, if most of that traffic is landing on a website or a page that's churches near me, if people are local and they're searching churches near me, that's going to really boost your SEO. So it's kind of like this really cool side effect. We didn't intend, but we realized that it's there and we're going to capitalize on it. So we're making that transition currently. But that's a little peek behind the curtain and maybe some of the mad science that goes into it. Another program that I just want to throw out there that we have is called Social Partners. And where that is, that's all based on Facebook. And my lights just went off. Facebook has this function called cross-posting. And so you can create a cross-posting relationship between two different business pages. And so the Social Partners program exists in that relationship. So we take the CV Outreach Facebook page, we establish a cross-posting relationship between your church's Facebook page, and then on a weekly basis, we share videos. We release those, and we also release social media graphics that match the theme, the topic, and the general tone and feel of those videos. And so those are pushed out on a weekly basis. And that's something that you don't have to post on your Facebook site. You don't, you're not forced to. You can write whatever you want to write into it. But we promote schedules. We say, hey, try this, and we just push that out on a regular basis. It's really high quality content. It's what we call the CV content vault, just to kind of give it some branding. And what that is when a video is cross-posted and shared on your Facebook page, you've got a local sphere of influence based on who follows your page. Now, if you share a video and it's got like 4 views, it doesn't usually pop up in somebody's Facebook feed unless they're really active on your Facebook site. And so the Facebook algorithms will serve up a video that's got like 4,000 views as opposed to one that has 4 views based on their algorithm, just because that's how it all works. Well, in a cross-posting relationship, the videos that get shared, some of them have like 8,000 views or 10,000 views, or some of them are tens of thousands, just depending on the video. And that weight of that engagement and that reach comes along with that video if you decide to post it. And so that's just the social partners program is just a way for local churches to really up their social media game. One thing that we're acutely aware of in working with pastors, and you guys should all be acutely aware of, is most pastors are overworked and underpaid. We did a study about 1.5 years ago of all of our church partners, all the pastors, and said, hey, what do you guys think of social media? Generally, what we saw was about 70% of y'all said something like, hey, we love social media. We think it's an effective tool. But we don't really know how to use it. We don't really know how to, best reach our local community using it. And we don't have the time, the money, and the resources. And so we said, hey, we'll just spin up this program really quick and see what happens. And it's been massively successful. We have like 900 people on that program. So it's really excited. So we got a question here. Does CV Outreach have or need access to our church's Facebook page? And if so, is it also showing positive signs as well? Yes, we will need to establish a cross-posting relationship. Michael, you may have specifics on, it's not the highest admin level. I think it's at an advertiser level below that. Can you speak to your experience with social partners at all?
It's been a while since I set that up, but yeah, if I remember correctly, it's not like full rights that I'm giving over to CV Outreach. And I think I was really skeptical in the beginning. I understood what CV was stating they were for, but then there's always the practice. And so it did feel a little bit different to, provide access. But by then I'd already seen the quality of their content and kind of the heart behind what they were doing. And so now we've been, social partners for years. And at first I spent a lot of time, auditing all of the videos before they would go out, because I just didn't know, again, what were they going to be stating, how they're going to come out. And now I just know that everything that they put out is going to be stuff that I'm going to be great with. And so videos are cross-posted. We watch a lot of engagement in those videos, a lot of people sharing those, a lot of people, liking and watching those videos. And so, yeah, absolutely. What I found is that, even more than just that, people watching and sharing it, in a sense, behind the scenes, it's like CV Outreach helped kind of retrain me how to use the church Facebook page in a much better way. I think I was guilty of our Facebook page becoming almost like just a digital like bulletin. And so here's all the things that we're doing. And it was very much about us instead of being a location that people would actually like want to come to who weren't already a part of our church. And so it really has flipped the script. It's made Facebook much more missional in engagement, because we're actually reaching people who maybe end up liking our page because of the content that's already on there, whereas the church potluck was not driving that kind of engagement before. And so, yeah, Malcolm, to your question, it is really showing positive signs in that regard. And again, I think I've even relearned what should I be posting by watching what CV is leading out in that regard.
So I'm going to go ahead in the chat, that shouldn't have done that, but cvglobal.co/about is where our statement of faith is. And so if you're going to partner with us, check out the statement of faith, just so you know that what we're about. All of our content, I would say 98% of it is going to be speaking directly to the gospel. There's going to be the other 2% may be, gospel themes and not very on the nose, but the majority of what we're putting out there is, just very gospel centered content. What we look for in partners is three different things. First, obviously you have to agree with the statement of faith, but after that, we look for churches who are missional, kingdom-minded churches, guys who are willing to understand that this is very much like it's a digital strategy. It's not the be-all end-all. It's something to come alongside your efforts. Like we understand that discipleship can't happen without relationship. That has to exist for discipleship to happen. And so that's what we're trying to facilitate. We appreciate guys who are kingdom-minded and understand that this is definitely a leave the 99 to go after the one. It's definitely a, hey, I got this email from you. Let's sit down for coffee tomorrow and talk about some of the issues that you're going through. Like Michael's example is a fantastic example of what we want the guys that we're partnering with to be about. And if they're not nearby, which sometimes that happens, it's like, hey, you guys have a great network. Let's figure out how to utilize your network to connect these people to the local church. The second thing, obviously, that we look for is that you need to be a church that's a 501c3 nonprofit, and then you have to own your own URL. You have to own your web domain. So those are the three things that we say are requirements for the Ag Grant partners. For social partners, it's much more simple. You need a Facebook presence, registered to your church, and you need to agree with the statement of faith. And that's about it. You can get started by just going to cboutreach.com. You're just going to find a bunch of general information there. There's going to be a couple of contact us links that you can pop your information in there. And then I got my guy, Bailey. He's going to get a hold of you. He's going to answer any questions that you have. If you have a desire to get into social partners, there's a direct link there. That's cboutreach.com/social-partners. And you can sign up there, and essentially you just get on an email thread. There's a guy named Owen Scott that helps us out. He's up in Canada. He's a real cool guy. He helps us out with social partners, and you'll be hearing from him. So I think that's just about everything that I have. If there's any other general questions, I would love to answer them, do the best that I possibly can to help you guys understand this.
Let me just give another testimony too in there. So there was another video that was watched. This one was one of those late night videos. And so I watched that video, it's a person kind of in a desperate situation and somebody on the video responding to that. This person was suicidal, was dealing with some demonic stuff by their own, admission. They felt like they had a curse placed on them. I engaged, in follow-up again the next day, with prayer back and forth, encouragement, pointing them to Jesus, and then found out in this case that I thought they were in Fresno. The IP address looked like they were in Fresno, but they were actually up in Washington. And so I was planning on getting them connected with one of our churches in Fresno, just so that there could be some boots on the ground connection at a quick pace that way, and just ask for some more time, and actually got them connected to Lloyd Moritz, who's the regional pastor up there in the Pacific Northwest. Lloyd understood the situation. I shared that email strand with him, and then he was able to put a church in contact that dealt with a lot of, issues similar to that. And so it was really great to be able to see the way that our own connections could be employed, just like what Bryce was getting at. There's a network of relationships that we already have. And so we can do this better together that way. And so I think that's another one of those testimonies that I'd really celebrate, the way that it was not just something that I was doing or somebody from, Church of God Exeter was doing, but a way that we're working together, extending the kingdom that way.
That's awesome, man. I love it. That's so great. And that's something that we want from our partners, is just that commitment to pursue these guys. It's a model of Jesus. It's pursuing people. It's, standing at the door and knocking. It's like, being there when they're ready to make that decision. So I'm super excited about it. All right. So last chance for questions before we close out here. Go ahead and type them in. If you don't have anything, we'll get out of your hair. We've been on for a good 20-ish minutes here, so we're excited. SEO, okay. SEO is search engine optimization. So probably got a dry mouth here, so it's hard to understand me. SEO is search engine optimization. And so that basically on any given website, if you want to rank for a certain topic for organic search is I get online and I search for, how to grow, that real life example. What's the best sort of grass for growing in North Texas? Because I've got some bare spots in my lawns. So what pops up there is a bunch of websites that have blogs and content on there that's going to teach me the best grass to grow in North Texas. Well, they're ranking in SEO because they're not in the ad slot, they're in the organic search slot. So like when you pop open a Google search, you're going to get 3 or 4 slots at the top or 3 or 4 slots at the bottom. I can't remember which is which, but in the middle there are the guys that are ranking for SEO. And so organic search, I type in churches near me. You're gonna get guys who are paying for it, and then you're gonna get churches who are not paying for it that just have a strong SEO game. And so that's what we're trying to help our partners do a little bit better, is to organically rank for the SEO. Okay, total novice at social media. It's all right. I got the jacket for that club. Let's see. Can a very small church participate? Absolutely. So for the Social Partners Program, if you go to cboutreach.com/social-partners, sign up there. You're gonna start getting that information sent to you. You'll get a walkthrough and steps and what you have to do. A very small church. That's what this was built for. It was built for larger churches to take the content that they've created, because they've all got content teams, to strip any sort of logo and branding from it and to make that content evergreen, because they got a lot of testimonies. They got, they have like an event coming up, and so they produce a video specific to, whatever topic, and then they put it on a shelf after spending like 10 grand on it. Well, it's like, well, hey guys, that's great content. Can we use it? And yeah, you can use it. Okay, great. We're just going to distribute it to all these smaller churches that don't have content teams and don't have access to the content that you guys have created, and just distribute it out. So it's great for big churches if you have a content team. It's amazing for small churches because, like Michael was saying, once you get to that point where you trust us and you know that we're curating the best content for you guys, you can, just kind of post that on a regular basis. For social media traffic, no, it won't boost your SEO. Those things are pretty disconnected. It's going to boost, it will boost knowledge in your local area. So if you can imagine, like most of the people that I have as friends on Facebook and my social media, they exist in the different geographical locations that I've lived in. So I've got a bunch of people from Indiana. I've got a bunch of friends from Texas. I've got a bunch of friends from North Africa because I used to live there. And so that's kind of where my spheres of influence are. So when I share something, it gets posted to those geographical locations essentially, because that's where my friends are at. So if your church is in a specific location and you got a bunch of people following you that are part of your church and you post stuff, that's kind of brand awareness. And so that's kind of how that would work. It's not necessarily SEO, but it is top of mind type of activity. And Rusty, yeah, we'd love to talk about content.
That's good. That's great. So something else that I'm thinking of, let me look, because I had a text message coming in, somebody who couldn't put something in there. Great. So kind of as a regional pastor, what I'd love to see is us take every single one of our websites and turn it into a Kingdom Outpost. And so I would love to lay out that challenge and then help, navigate some of that stuff to be able to make that happen. And so, I hope some of the stories that I'm telling could help provoke some of that and encourage that. And then everybody that's got a Facebook page too, again, there's going to be good quality content that's going to help stimulate greater engagement on your Facebook page, which is just going to be great representation there in your area. So I'd love to see the social partnership happen as well. And so that, I think not Malcolm, it was Dayton that was asking kind of what's step 1, 2, 3. So if you went back to the chat bar, those posts, the links that were placed in there are ways that you can engage. And then what I'll look to do is I'll look to put out some content back to you guys as well that will reinforce that once we put this out in video format to everybody else for the recording. So love to see every single one of our websites utilized, and love to see every one of our Facebook pages utilized this way.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So I've got my email here in the chat bar. If you guys can see that, it's bryce@cvoutreach.com. Just hit me up. Any questions along the way? We can jump back on another one of these, or we can just talk over the phone as well. Want to be super accessible. Also, just wanted to throw out there, there's no real commitment to this. It's a free thing. And if you guys get on and you decide, hey, this isn't working for us, no hard feelings. We understand. It's like, it's not working for you. If it's not working for you, it's not working for us either. So there's, we'll part ways, and there's no animosity on that at all. Social Partners is real easy. You just, stop answering our emails. So yeah, I wanted to throw that out there. No commitment whatsoever. So we'll do last call for questions here, and then we'll get moving on. All right, guys. Really grateful for the opportunity, Michael. Really appreciate you guys getting together and helping us get the word out about CV Outreach. If anybody in your spheres of influence, might come to mind and talking about this program, please don't hesitate to share it. We love bringing networks into this and understanding that, yes, we are working together as the body of Christ to accomplish this mandate that he's given us to take the gospel to the nations. That's a mandate that's near and dear to my heart. And so once again, guys, thanks for gathering. Thanks for listening to us. And we appreciate everything that you're doing, even though it's even if it never is part of CV Outreach. Just have a great respect for everything that the local pastor is doing for the local church. Yes, it would be an incredible tool for church planners. It was born out of the hearts of church planners, to be honest. So we're very thanks for that. But anyways, Michael, parting words.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Rusty, just shoot an email to Bryce too, to be able to talk about that, because some of those connections that you've got in ARC would be great to be able to see that. I mean, I could see where that could become part of the church planning toolkit too, a partnership that way, and at least a way forward and a strategy. Because I know for me, like, I had an idea about how to be able to use these things for the kingdom, but I just didn't know how. So they really upped my game. It was just discipleship back, at me from a social angle. So I feel way more equipped. I'm still learning from them, but I feel way more equipped and adept because of the training that way. So awesome stuff. That's about it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Blessings on everyone. Thanks for your time. See you later.
All right. Thanks, bud.